Support for Just Seen It comes from Warner Archive Instant. Streaming hard-to-find movies and TV shows direct from the studio at WarnerArchiveInstant.com. Support for Just Seen It comes from Acorn, distributors of the detective drama Jack Taylor, starring Game of Thrones Ian Glenn. More information is available at acornonline.com/PTV. The outlaw Butch Cavendish kills a posse of Texas Rangers out to apprehend him.
Give me your hand!
But when John Reid survives, he decides to capture the criminal that killed his brother.
If we ride together, we ride for justice.
Justice is what I seek.
Along with the spirit warrior Tonto, they unite to save the day in The Lone Ranger.
Hi, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Zorianna.
And I'm Aaron, and today we're here to talk about the newest outing from Johnny Depp and director Gore Verbinski, The Lone Ranger. We've all just seen it. David, tell me what this movie's about.
Well, it's a throwback to the original television series from the 1950s, The Lone Ranger, which was very popular, wildly popular TV show at the time.
Terry Ross and Ted Elliott, who wrote the script with Justin Haythe, the three of them together just don't have a unifying voice. There are too many cooks in the kitchen. It is way too long.
Way too long.
Oh my God.
2.5 hours.
I literally almost fell asleep over 5 times.
I'll be honest with you, I really liked the first act. The setup of the characters, the beautiful and grand vistas that made me thought that I was watching a John Ford Western, and then it just disappears.
It was 2 hours before he really became the Lone Ranger.
Yes, he doesn't even decide on a name towards the end even, like they're still debating on the silver bullet and all that sort of stuff.
All that stuff that is sort of in our knowledge of the Lone Ranger, it takes them so long to get to it.
I think the biggest problem here is that the tone of the film. Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Is it an action? Is it a Western? And of course you can have a mix of all of those genres. Pirates of the Caribbean was certainly a mix of action and drama and comedy. But in this case, to me at least, it felt like Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer were in a comedy together by themselves.
And also, you don't have a lot invested in the movie. About halfway through the film, I was looking at my watch and I was going, okay, I know how this movie is going to end.
The whole plot was telegraphed to me like 30 minutes into the movie. I knew every single twist that was going to happen in the entire movie. I knew how it was going to play out in less than an hour, and so I was just really uninterested.
To be honest, I wish they had started this movie at the point where these guys do ride off into the sunset and are now a team getting ready to go forth. Like, this is the backstory that, like, I didn't really need to hear.
Eyes cut by the bullets that killed him. From the great beyond, we will protect you.
You want me to wear a mask?
The men you seek think you are dead, Kimosabe. Better to stay that way.
What goes wrong is that there's just one set piece after another, and set piece is an industry term for this big action scene that doesn't have much connection to whatever plot there might be or character development, and it really interrupts the chemistry that Armie Hammer's character of John Reid, who's the Lone Ranger, and of course Johnny Depp as Tonto, they just don't seem to sync up during the movie.
Which is a bummer because the performances are actually okay. And Johnny Depp as Tonto is not the greatest, and yes, he's channeling Jack Sparrow.
Exactly.
But there's funny things about him, and if there was a time that I laughed at all, it was because of him.
I feel like if you scrubbed off all of Tonto's makeup and took the dead crow off his head...
There's Jack Sparrow.
Exactly. There's Jack Sparrow.
Going somewhere?
Yes. No. No. Yes. No. Yes. No, we are not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Shut up!
Yes.
I love bad guys in movies, and William Fichtner as Butch Cavendish is an excellent example of how the bad guy gets to steal the movie.
But that's the thing, you get a movie where a guy is like taking the heart out of someone's body and eating it. And then you have like Johnny Depp feeding a crow.
Which comes back to what you said.
You've got serious villains and you got mustache twirling villains.
Right.
It's just like...
But we do have to give him credit as Butch Cavendish. Every time he came on camera, I was like, my skin crawled.
Yeah, no,
It was so
his
sleazy.
makeup's good. You know, that like hair lip thing that
Right,
they
where
gave
he
him
was
in the
clearly
gold,
cut.
gold tooth and all those little intricacies
The supporting
about it.
characters are great, but I just felt like in a movie like this, they were kind of mostly wasted. I mean, the actors were there to hit their technical beats as opposed to being let loose and actually have fun, because if Johnny Depp's gonna have fun, everyone else should be having fun in this movie.
I think we got to talk about the director Gore Verbinski at this point.
He's definitely a master of the action flick.
Absolutely.
He's really good at doing these grand scale films. There's no doubt about it that he's very technically competent. He knows how to create a look and carry it through.
And he knows how to spend money and put it on screen.
Absolutely. He knows where to put the camera at just the right place.
Yeah.
I found it really interesting.
He controls the pace of the film, and the pacing is way off. It's just dragging and dragging and dragging. And the technical elements of the film are fine. It's just you can't forgive the fact that the story doesn't really have a good through line and just stops and starts.
Fine performances and stunning visuals cannot save the lack of heart in this film. But if you happen to have 2.5 hours to burn at home, I say stream it.
Technically superb, story falls flat. Stream it.
All in all, The Lone Ranger was a supreme disappointment that suffered from having too many cooks in the kitchen. So I say skip it.
Wow, well, our votes add up to one full ticket, which is a stream it for The Lone Ranger. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hi-oh, Silver.
Don't ever say that. The performances in this film are really fun, but the story is just so crappy.
Support for Just Seen It comes from Warner Archive Instant. Streaming hard-to-find movies and TV shows direct from the studio at WarnerArchiveInstant.com. Support for Just Seen It comes from Acorn, distributors of the detective drama Jack Taylor, starring Game of Thrones Ian Glenn. More information is available at acornonline.com/PTV.